I heard TBC Anniversary wasn't doing so well this time around, so I really wanted to look into that myself because the last time I played TBC was when Blizzard re-released it for the first time, and I had such an unpleasant experience because it was like the community tried their utmost to become the most toxic, wretched pool of miasma in human history. Everything wrong and bad that happened to me inside of that game was due to the fact that I chose Retribution Paladin as my class. Incredible, isn't it? I guess I should have been a Warlock or a Mage. At least that's what Dave told me. But at the same time, I'm really not regretting quitting the game, even though I was kind of frustrated over that because I really wanted to experience TBC to the fullest, and I ended up quitting after the first raid tier. I was clowned by raid leader and Pogs not for my guild, and most of my dungeon runs. It was crazy. Even though you do still switching and you max your DPS, people don't care. Like a dumb mage that just literally go, oh, blah, 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 is 10 times better than you, and they would actually clown you for that. It's so insane. But you know what? Let's actually watch the video and see if those problems are still happening today.
I've been seeing a lot of this stuff lately about this tank epidemic. I've seen Kago make videos about it. I've seen Jerome now make his video about it in discussion on how basically tanks are in a massive shortage and this is a massive tank problem and tanks should be at the highest priority of the list and when it comes to TBC.
Wow! Are you telling me that the most toxic people never play a tank or a heal? Dude, what a surprise. That's a shocker. I would have never guessed. Who would have thunk, right? The most wretched people on earth refuse to do something that is helpful. Insane. All they care about is literally damage meters and being at the top. Because they're such huge failures in their own life, the only thing that gives them a modicum of respite is them being first place on a random damage meter that nobody really cares about. Can you imagine how sad and pathetic that is? It is insane. They're not playing for fun, man. They're playing to be at the top of something because they're failing at everything in their miserable lives. It's just so sad to see. Honestly, you know what? I'm not even mad at them. I'm just sad.
Should be you who takes the responsibility to take on the mantle to lead the dungeons, lead the cause of the tank shortage, and basically run TBC and become the hero today is what a lot of these guys are saying. And I agree with them. Don't get me wrong. I think it's very important to become a tank and understand the fundamentals on what it requires to actually pay attention to the other classes in your party, especially in your raid, pay attention to mechanics, heroics, raid callouts, understanding class abilities, understanding AI abilities when it comes to the targets that you're facing.
No, brother, no. What are you talking about? Responsibility here? All I want to do is do some fire bolts, my dude. I don't want to do anything else. Rotations? What? Are you insane? I want to see, look at this. I want to be here, okay? No, that's damage taken. Hell no, you can literally delete that. I want to be here. I want to be this guy. That's what I aspire to. That's what I need in my life. That would make my father come back with the milk and cigarettes from the store.
Understanding how to gear properly, which is another massive issue in TBC amongst everybody. You go to Wowhead, you go to Icy Veins, Warcraft Tavern. I mean, there's YouTube videos, the list goes on. If you don't know how to gear properly, that is something that is on your own accord. You have to deal with that yourself. And there's another side to the coin as well, which I think is happening in TBC, and that's the gatekeep mentality. On classes thinking that they don't need to bring specific classes because either that class is useless, it doesn't provide anything, and you could just bring another class because due to TBC game design during, the time TBC came out, classes during certain phases were more favored than others, or to a certain point in the phase, they were more favored to others. And
oh no, if we bring a paladin, it's gonna take us 5 more minutes to do the raid. Guys, we better ostracize him from the community. We don't want to be around him. Look at him. He's trying to have fun. What is this guy doing? Shame on him. And they're, oh my god, these people, man. I'm actually getting rage baited here. I mean, it's a great video. It's not this guy's fault. It just, he brings up all of my memories for the last time I played this. It just sucks so much.
Also in heroics, why would you want to bring anything else besides a bunch of mages and hunters, right? Because obviously they have all the tools in their kit to do the right thing. At the same time, not everybody's always as smart as you think, and they zug before the tank and cause a threat problem, and these issues happen, and then it leads to, you know, wipes and people crying and complaining, wasting their time in a 1 hour run of either slave pens or 1 hour run of, you know, a heroic shattered halls. Or
Bro, imagine saying that paladins' damage are so low they can't even pull for it. God, that's okay. You know what? I'm not even offended.
Another 1 hour run in a heroic Arcatraz, whatever the hell that they're doing, any heroic in general. And this is the problem right here, is that I definitely think that there's this gatekeep mentality that tanks don't talk about enough too, where they don't invite certain classes because they feel like those classes are useless. So we'll say for this instance here, aka the rogue. A rogue, right, which I understand, and I'm not here to sit here and be a defender of rogues. I know I'm playing one right now, but let me get my 2 cents out before you think I'm taking a bias here. I think rogues are more smarter in PvE than people give them, and how much more value that they provide to a heroic, and give much more time for a tank to just
he's scoping. It's okay, let him
threat, and also have no issues with doing more damage to the boss on top of also dealing with less enemies. There are good rogues in PvE.
Man, rogue players are truly grasping at straws. Wow. I mean, I didn't even know that. I wasn't made aware because I always avoid playing rogue in every single MMO. I just don't know.
And then there's
it's interesting.
Better rogues in PvE. That's the difference. There are good rogues that know what they're doing, but they don't utilize their whole kit. And there are great rogues that know what they're doing and make the heroic seem flawless, and it goes by super smooth. I can't tell you
it's
how
an
many
ad
times
for
as a
rogue
myself who's been playing the game, and also I've been watching a lot of Simon Eyes too, who has played the game on his rogue as well, who has assisted with saps, assisted with gouges, assisted with blinds, assisted with vanishes because your threat was too high, so you re-vanish and go in for a garrote to silence a specific caster mob that is causing the party to take massive DPS in a heroic, and on top of utilizing kicks as well, and also, you know, cheap shotting, kidney shotting, the full 9 yards of just taking care of your group and making sure you do not wipe. A rogue,
damn, he's still gassing up rogue.
Really good target CC and also improve exposed armor to help even your hunter, if they're in your party,
I'm almost sold.
More damage. It actually helps out everyone. I can't tell you how many times I've had successful runs in my heroics running with hunters, shamans, druids, paladins, warriors. It doesn't matter the class at this point, where it's been very well and very smooth as long as you let the rogue use their kit and act.
Please try to do the same thing with paladins. I cannot wait to hear that. Like, oh, guys, just bring the paladin. He can seal switch. It's fine. The DPS would be as much as a mage pressing firebolt. Like, just try. Just give the paladin a chance, damn it. He wants to have fun too.
Actually help out. How many times have you ran a heroic where you have a mage and a rogue together and they're actually performing twos like it's arena and CCing every target in a heroic to make it so much more easier for the tank? It makes it easy, these heroics, when you have classes that can CC and just keep shit still. It's really good when you bring a mage and rogue together, and I think this whole point of what I'm getting at is that this gatekeep mentality looks at certain classes like...
Well, he's right about bringing a mage and a rogue, but you can just bring a mage and a warlock or just more mages, and that would make the raid infinitesimally easier, or the dungeon. Like, so it's just unfortunate because people would rather min-max and save like 5 more minutes on a run than include you. It's just reality.
Rogues, or maybe you look at prot warriors and you don't think they're good enough to bring, or maybe you look at a specific healing class that you feel like just doesn't do that much healing over time, or just provides that many burst heals that you just don't want to bring them.
Yeah.
And
Prot
I think
warriors are still good.
TLDR is that not all classes outside of rogues in the game are as useless as you think, and they provide essentials to your group if they play their class out to the actual rotation of their class and utilize all the tools in their kit to make your runs run smoother. I don't think it's a class problem. I think it's a person not understanding the rotation problem. I also think it's an individual not willing to make friends in the community problem. I don't think it's just like bias against rogues or any of these other classes that you shouldn't bring them because A and B doesn't equal C, and a mage and a hunter could just do 10 times things better than everybody else. But then you'll have a prop paladin who's playing with a bunch of casters, and now he's rolling on all their loot, and you create a dilemma there as well. This whole tank epidemic, I think, is getting...
That's actually a really good point, right? You have like loot distribution that you need to think of. That is also true. He's right about everything, and yeah, unfortunately, it all distills down to just retail mentality seeping into Classic. It's all that there is. You can't really reason with these people, even though you made a great video talking about the problems and why people should diversify when it comes to classes inside of their groups. It doesn't matter, because retail players won't adhere to that. They do not care. They know exactly what they're doing. And again, they're willing to save one more minute on a run, then run it with you. It's just a fact. You can't avoid that.
And taken out of hand, in my personal opinion, I think it's more of a community problem, quite frankly. I think people don't want to become friends with each other. I don't think people want to form bonds and find good players and then group up and go into a dungeon together. They want to find a group and then automatically think they're going to be in an okay position without understanding the person behind that character, if they know the rotation, if they know their gearing, if they know the dungeons. I think a lot of more problems happen from, knowledge checks, but also at the same time, nobody willing to give people a chance because they're class biased. And I think
no, because they're so egomaniacs that they cannot even see beyond their scope of vision. They can't think about, oh, what it's like to be in this guy's shoes. They don't care. They came here from retail World of Warcraft. It is literally a solo experience. And again, they brought that mentality here, which Classic is supposed to be all about grouping with other people. So it created a clash where ideologies just can't contain each other. They can't coexist. It's either you have retail mentality or classic mentality. And the people who play classic usually just end up get pushed to the side because it's just the nature of the beast, right? Retail player would dominate everything because they always come to play classic. And I think, generally speaking, I think that there are more in numbers than the classic players, because classic players are probably just completely bold and with children now, so they don't really have time to play. So it's just very unfortunate. You see this situation where retail player just hijack the entire game and nobody's having fun, really.
I think this happens both on a tank perspective end,
not even
and
them,
a DPS perspective end. And I agree with both sides of the spectrum when it comes to the tank epidemic and also DPS not liking tanks, because I agree with tanks in the sense of DPS need to learn how to just DPS and listen to the tank, because if you want to act like a tank,
they need to learn how to shut the hell up.
Be like a tank, then roll a tank. That's quite frankly my opinion on things. If you don't know what it's like to become a tank and ever play that role, please roll one and then come back to me and let me know how you're doing in the next week, because it's not as easy as everyone claims it is.
It's not. I'm a tank main. I know what he's talking about. And it's not that difficult to. I mean, brother, at the end of the day, this is classic. You don't need to be giga brain to actually do something. It's a very easy content. But at the same time, yeah, you do need to you need to fire up at least 2 brain cells to do a heroic dungeon, okay? Now, I know most Hunter players are looking at this what? What? Are you kidding me? And yeah, most of the time the tanks will have to cover for them. But as I was about to say, basically if I'm playing a tank, you cannot allow yourself to treat me as your slave. Okay? And unfortunately, it feels like it's all that happens with retail WoW player. They're actually telling you who cares about you? Right? I'm doing the damage, you're doing nothing, you're just standing there, you're a meat sack. Bro, come on. Are you seriously going to treat me in this manner because I rolled a tank and I'm actually helping you? Of course there's a tank shortage. Nobody wanted deals with these creatures. They're fiends, man. They're animals. It's so disgusting. Nobody want to deal with that.
And it's easier said than done when you're going into those dungeons. You don't have the proper gearing. You don't have the knowledge of your rotation. You don't have the knowledge of the dungeon and other classes around you.
Yeah, imagine rolling a tank, going into an heroic, someone pulled by accident and actually flames you for it. It's just so cringe, and it happens all the time. All the time. No, I'm not at fault here. No, you didn't do your thing right. No, I did everything correctly. You were stalling. You were late. Bro, chill, okay? Stop. It's so cringe. I'm actually getting re-infuriated by thinking about this.
On top of people watching their threat, which is the biggest probable cause to most wipes in heroic dungeons. And I also think for tanks as well, because I know this is how tanks are, and maybe they won't tell you this, but this is how they feel inside, and I'm going to show this to everyone else. A lot of these tanks have main character syndrome, and they have tank gatekeeping mentality, because they ran with successful groups. They have the homework and the data already set in stone. If the homework and the data shows that they can bring a whole mage pre-spell cleave group or warlock group as well, You don't need to bring any other class, do you? Not really, not necessarily.
He may be right about that, but it's not applicable to me. I can only vouch for myself.
If the data shows that they can bring a hunter with a whole melee cleave group, they don't need to bring any other class, do they? Not necessarily. So tanks choose and pick what kind of group they want to run that is the most successful thing to their runs. At the same time, not all tanks are like that. They'll be willing to open up their doors and bring, a mix of different comps to their heroics. Will they last a couple minutes longer than the usual norm? Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. But it really depends on that group and the people that are knowledgeable at their classes. And this is where the 50-50 comes into play, because you never know who you're going to run with. You can run with somebody that's really good at their class and you never expected them to do that much CC, do that much damage, or even add utility to the group. And now you're very impressed with the class. Or maybe you go into an experience where you're playing with that specific class and they're horrible at it. And now you think all the classes or all people who play that class are like that one person, when it's not like that at all. And I think this is where, in my opinion...
No, it's not like that, only for hunters.
I don't think it's a tank epidemic problem. I think it's a TBC community problem at its core. And it's due to people not knowing their classes, still not understanding the rotations, needing to practice more, needing to gear better, but at the same time, people need to be willing to open up with each other more often as well. Make friends with people. I'm imploring you guys to do this, man. It's so important to become friendly with other individuals and actually find success in TBC. And
basically, he's saying that you should be a mentor to new players or people who just don't really understand what they're doing. And he's absolutely right. But again, this is retail WoW mentality we're speaking about. They never do that. They always assume that you watched 7 different guides and downloaded 10 different add-ons, and now you're a king of everything you do. One simple mistake is gonna send you flying out of the guild or group, whatever. It's just it's so on the nose too. It's just so disgusting. They don't even hide it. But again, at the end of the day, it is what it is.
I want to shed some light on this as well, because I think it's very important. For anybody who is chasing metas, and if you're a person who likes to parse as well, I understand it's very nice to see those numbers on the screen, especially when you're rating. But when it comes to heroic dungeons, if you are not a part of the 99th, 100th percentile when it comes to average parses and just how good you are in your class on Warcraft logs, you have no reason to chase metas and become a part of min-max comps in TBC.
Because you're a nobody that actually, literally, is so insignificant, you are at the same level of a random rat in Stormwind City. That's what he was trying to say. He was being a little bit nice about it, but hey, you know what? I'll cover for him. And it's so true too, because everyone thinks they're in method. And it's so crazy to see. Brother, you are literally a nobody, and everyone is going to forget about you the moment the dungeon is over. Like, please stop trying to min-max and squeeze in damage. You're not in the top 0.1 percentile. Just have fun, relax, chill, okay? Even when I'm making content, I'm not chasing the top 1%. I'm not looking to be that guy. It's just so cringe that instead of being a good person, you decide to chase meta when literally no one cares. I would never understand these people. And like, I'm a very competitive player. I played competitive games my entire life. But brother, MMOs aren't a place for that. It's a place to meet new people, to have some friends, and to actually have fun alongside a community that you enjoy being a part of. It was never about chasing like metas and numbers and graphs. No, this is retail mentality. We don't need that here. Like, just have fun, relax, it's okay. You don't have to be the number one guy. You just have to be someone else's number one guy. Beautiful, isn't it? I just thought of it at the spot.
And actually complain about shit, because you don't need to be chasing these metas to get these heroics done. It's totally just stupid to think with that mentality. Even myself as a rogue right now on Warcraft logs, I'm a part of the 95 average score of all parsing rogues in the world, right? And I feel like I perform pretty damn well. I'm not out here chasing the meta in heroic dungeons. Quite frankly, I don't care about doing heroic dungeons like that. I've been a part of many of them already. I do my average daily. I do a couple easy heroic dungeons with some friends every now and then just to collect some badges for next phase, and I move on with the game. But you don't need to be a part of the min-max groups. And this is even a shout out to the rogues out there. I'll give you guys a shout out real fast, because you guys don't need to stress it, bro. Don't worry about being part of this min-max culture BS that any person tells you. Whether that's people in games, streamers, content creators, it doesn't doesn't matter. Play the game at your own pace and make friends with people that are willing to push heroics and find tanks, find healers, find DPS. Become friends with those people, gear together, grow together. You're going to suffer together too. That's a part of TBC, is going through that suffering, losing out on, pieces of loot. Not everybody gets geared as fast. That is normal culture in MMOs. It's okay to not get things as fast, but you will in time, and go through the grind together. It's very fun when you do it with that mentality rather than the zug min-max mentality. You have to run full spell cleave, have to run melee cleave. Tanks are gatekeeping classes from coming into their groups. DPS are hating on tanks because they feel like they get all the loot. All this stupid ass mentality that happens in TBC, it's all irrelevant. Ignore all this stuff that is happening and just find friends. You will have the most successful time in TBC, on God. I'm telling you, that will be the best advice you'll hear all day.
He said on God.
Don't need to listen to anybody.
Right.
You could just have your group of people go into heroics,
for real.
raids, get gear, and enjoy your time if you just find people that want to play the game with you and have fun. That's the truth. God honest, telling you the truth. That's the best way of going about TBC. Once again, if you're not a part of the 99th 100 percentile of min-maxers parsing on these logs and you're chasing metas in heroic dungeons, it's just stupid thinking. And also,
I'm gonna say something here that I don't know if it's true or not. It's just a feeling that I have, so make sure to let me know in the comments if this is true. I think a lot of people trying to min-max and do all of that, even though they're not streaming, doing content, anything like that, I think they want to be noticed by their favorite streamer. I don't know, it's a theory I came up with, seeing like Sada popping videos and how everyone trying to like give him gold and all this stuff, and like all of these streamers, and it just makes sense to me, right? I don't know, it's just something I came up with, I'm not really sure, but it just feels like it. It's like they want to be noticed by someone. And it's so unfortunate, man. Like, they care about WoW logs and all of that. Like, oh, people gonna see their name. Brother, ain't nobody's going to remember you. It doesn't really matter. I really hope they would understand that. But playing for fun is, like, a lost thing these days.
I just want to add that this is not a video hating on tanks. I love tanks, by the way. I think they should lead the charge no matter what, and the DPS should always watch their damn threat. If you want to make a tank, reroll, and then you have every room to talk shit once you play a tank to 70, once you do all the heroics and you're pre-ready for, actual raiding, and you're leading a whole group of a bunch of other idiots in Kara and in, Karazhan and Gruul, and you're trying to manage things correctly. Then you'll know what it's like to tank. I understand the tank life in that retrospect, and I respect it 100%. At the same time, I just think tanks need to ease up on the gatekeeping side of things, because it does exist. Maybe they don't want to admit this to you, but it is the truth. And I'll expose that, because I think that's what I do as a rogue. Improve exposed armor is BIS. Because I don't think you need to have this mentality of running a specific comp to reach this actual statistic of having a massive success rate, because you bring spell cleave, you bring melee cleave, when in reality you just need to bring people that are good at their class. You just need to bring people that know how to push their buttons and know what to do and put their eyes on the screen and not just zug the entire time, and also not have the proper gearing the entire time, or don't know their rotation the entire time. A lot of factors come into play, but I don't think this whole min-max culture needs to exist on both the DPS side and the tank side. And that's really my 2 cents for this entire situation. I know it's kind of coming off rambling, but I mean, to be honest with you, I just think more of these people would stop complaining and whining online if they just became more friends with each other and be more willing to open up to non-meta classes in your runs, and you would have a higher success rate if you just cleared more shit rather than skip everything 99% of the time. That's another conversation that has to be had, because don't get me wrong, I love skipping in slave pens, but I can't tell you how many times I've had idiots do bad skips, or not understand how to do a skip, or not be willing to skip because they'd never done it before. There's so many times that, even myself, I've messed up. I'm an idiot too. Who am I to, throw the jab across other people? I've thrown jabs at myself as well. We've all made mistakes, and I think that's the point, is that everybody makes mistakes in TBC, and everyone fails at a certain point, but we can all find how to improve and get better at the game and be willing to accept more classes who want to learn the game. And I think that's what it's all about. So I'll leave it at that. And I can already see the comments below on this video. People are probably going to get upset saying, this dude doesn't understand what it's like for a tank, or this guy doesn't understand what it's like for DPS waiting for tanks. I've been through it all, man. I understand the 100% of the entire goddamn game. I've played all through it already twice now.
Yeah, people would always cope. He's right. People would always cope, but the point is never to listen to them because you know they're lost. There's no point in trying to understand the mind, the intricacies that flow within the retail player mind. Okay, they're hive mind. They cannot even be condensed into like one singular being. It's that pathetic. But yeah, I mean, he was absolutely right about everything. Seems to be the end of the video. I'm definitely going to leave it in the description. Guys, you should watch this video for yourself. Give this man a like. It was a fantastic video. I really loved his insights. He was absolutely giga-based at every single turn. And he's absolutely right. The one point I don't fully understand is that tanks are doing the gatekeeping, but that's personal because I never did that myself. It may be true. I don't know. You guys would have to tell me yourself. But it's just so unfortunate because really he did not talk about the major problem here, which is retail mentality. That's all there is to it. It kind of went in a roundabout way to talk about all the problems that retail players created, but he never specifically mentioned that this was the reason. And I understand, maybe you don't want the clap back because retail players are incredibly rabid and it would lead to just massive dislike bombing of his videos and really disgusting comments. I know, I've been through that myself. So regardless, great video, and I really wish that more people would just play to have fun rather than see a graph goes up.